Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how I made this. I'm calling it a triple stacked easel card and it's 5x7 and so it folds flat like that. So you can put it in as long as your stoppers aren't too thick, and then it stands up flat. So I've had some questions about a previous card that I made, but obviously you can see on this where this bit here is the base, so it will stand up like that. So if I put that flat, you can see how it stands up. Now if I turn it sideways so you can see, so that would obviously be where your mantelpiece is, and these are the bits that stand up, and obviously you just take them out and fold them flat to put them in the envelope. So that's what we're going to be making today. Now I'm going to be using the brand new, and I'm really excited about this, the brand new Trimcraft Christmas range. I actually bought these with my own money. I haven't been gifted them, but I was so excited that I went out and bought them. So this is what we're using. So we're going to use the Winter Wonderland pack from Dovecraft. So for this card you need quite a few pieces, but don't be put off. It's not that bad. I don't think it's that bad. So you're going to need a 5x7 card base. Now I've gone for the navy for this, and then there's going to be another card base. So on my original I just had the red card base and that was it. That was my card base. But what I should have had is had another one around the outside, so you got that border. So with this, that's why I've done that. So that's going to be like the extra bit, the border. And then instead of, so that would sit on top of there kind of thing. So instead of the red, I'm actually going to be using silver as my main card base. This is like my contrasting card base in 5x7, and then the silver is my main card base. So for the main card base, you need one piece that is 2 3/8 of an inch by 7 1/4. And then you need 3 pieces that are 2 3/8 by 6 3/4. Okay, so that's your main base. Then you also need to work out what you're going to use pattern wise. So I decided to have pattern A, which is what I use at the front, which is this white based floral paper, pattern B, which on this one is the blue holly, and pattern C, which on this one is the Merry Christmas stripe. So for this card I've chosen to use the stars as my pattern A. So you need one piece that is 2 1/8 by 6 1/4, and one piece that is 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. Okay, and then you need pattern B. So I've chosen to go for the navy with the snowflakes on. Exactly the same measurements as for pattern A. So you've got one piece that's 2 1/8 by 6 1/4, and one piece that's 2 1/8 by 2 7/8. Then you need pattern C, and I've gone for the script with the navy, which I think is really nice. So you need one piece that is 2 1/8 by 6 1/2, and then you need 2 pieces that are 2 1/8 by 3 1/8. Now, as with the other cards that we've made that have been like twisted easel, triple twisted easel cards, you can make 2 cards at the same time. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. I'm going to make 2 cards because I'm going to use on this, let me bring my original in. On my original, we've only got one of pattern B, and that gets cut in half diagonally and gets used at the back of both of these parts. Same with pattern A. Pattern C, however, we've only got one piece. So this piece here, the remainder piece there, is spare. So I'm going to make another card, and what I'm going to do is I'm just literally going to cut out and bring it in. So this is my like leftover, this is my second card basically I'm making with the leftovers. I've cut out my card base, which is a 5x7 again. I've cut a white card blank, which is, not card blank, a white piece of card. I haven't mentioned that yet, I'm coming to that in a minute, but that's 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and that's just to put on the back so you can write your message on it. Then I've cut out my card bases exactly the same, the silver ones, so exactly the same. And what I've done is, instead of cutting out 2 of this, so pattern C, I haven't cut any of pattern C out for my second card because I will be using the triangles left over from the first card to use on the second one. Okay, you'll see in a minute. So all I've done on this one is I've cut out the one panel of A, one panel of B, just like I have here, and I've actually gone ahead and cut mine up, and then I've cut out the base pieces, the pattern C, as usual. So it's just that back piece that you don't need. So yeah, so that's your pattern C. So I've done that, and then as I said, you just need your white piece of paper, which is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, and that's going to go on the back. That's what you're going to write on. That's what you're going to use for your message. Now, you will also need some little bits and bobs of sentiments and stuff. This is for both cards. So I've opted for one sentiment for the back, and then I've opted for just a little die cut element here and a die cut element here. So on this card that we're doing now, I think I'm going to have the tree, and I'm going to have a snowflake, and then I'm also going to have a I think I'm going to go with the season's greetings. And then on the other one, I'm going to have a just for you, a Merry Christmas, and a Christmas tree. Right, so we can start by sticking the white piece of card, the 4 3/4 by 6 3/4, on the back of our 5 by 7 contrasting card base. Right, so I've stuck that down. I'm going to turn it over, and this is the side we will be sticking our card base pieces onto, but we don't need it right now. So for now, I'm just going to put this piece to one side, and we'll come back to that later. So if you bring in your not your contrasting card base, the one you just dealt with, your silver card bases, for me, your normal card bases, and what you're going to do is you're going to take the one that's slightly bigger, so this one is 7 1/4 wide. You need to bring in your scoreboard, and you're just going to mark, we're just going to score at 1/2 inch on one edge. And that's all you need to do on this scoreboard. We're going to do more in a minute on the corkboard, but until then, that's it on the scoreboard. So put that to one side, and also put to one side one of your 6 3/4 length pieces. Take the other two 6 3/4 length pieces. So these are the ones that measure 2 3/8 by 6 3/4, and you're going to score them in half at 3 3/8. Like that. Now we can put the scoreboard away, and we can bring in the corkboard. So with the corkboard, what you want to do is you're going to score from the bottom, so where your centre line is, count that as your bottom, that the bottom of that line. You're going to score from the bottom left to the top right, and you're going to do that on both pieces. So that's those two pieces done. We're now going to bring in the longer piece, which is the one you did the 1/2 inch tab on. Turn it round so that the tab is on the left, and you're going to score in exactly the same direction as what you've just done for these. So from the bottom left, starting from the score line, going up to the top right. Do not go from here. You need to go from that score line. And so that's that piece done. So now we're going to fold along all of those score lines. If you have trouble, because that's a bit of a strange angle, you can just lay your ruler back on and bend up your card against the ruler, and that helps you to get a better score line. Now this card that I've used here is quite thick, and it's quite metallic because it bends like a piece of metal almost. So just be careful you don't go too thick with your card, because it will cause troubles later. So that's that piece done, and then we're just going to score the other two. So you should end up with 4 pieces that look like that. So 2 of them are the small ones that you folded in half and then you've scored diagonally on the front. One of them at the back is the long piece and you've done a tab and you've scored on the front, and the other is a long piece but it's just left plain. Now what we're going to do is I'm just going to put these 2 to one side, and we're going to open this up and we're going to put red tape on here and then stick that on at the back there, because I would have made this whole piece in one go, but it would have to be 14 inches long pretty much, which is a bit too long, so that's why I've split it up. So now I've added the red tape on, I'm going to peel off the backing. And then I'm going to take the 6 3/4 piece and we're going to stick that onto there. Now the best way I think of doing it to make sure it fits and it doesn't go wonky is to lay it over the top of your card and just bend that over on top, because then you know it's straight on the top. You know, it's going to come over slightly on the edge, but that's fine. And then at least then you know that that's pretty much lined up. So now if you bring in your pattern C, so this is the one where we didn't, these are just the, you can have this as a right way up pattern because it's going to go at the back. So pattern C, just to remind you, is this one that's going on the inside here. So this is pattern C. Okay, so that can be have a right way up. The patterns A and B, I would definitely choose an any way up pattern. So by that I mean a pattern that does not have a right way up. You could literally have it upside down, on its side, it wouldn't matter. It's, you know, any way up, literally. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick this on the inside of these pieces. So one here, and then one there, and one there. So I'm going to go ahead and stick these down. So now I've gone ahead and stuck those down, so that's what you're left with. As you can see, that's on the inside. So now what I'm going to do is put these to one side, because we're going to cut up pattern A and pattern B and make sure they fit. So I'm just going to put these off screen. Right, so pattern A and pattern B. There's my pattern B, there's my pattern A. So what we want to do is on the other side, so turn them over. Now if you've got a double-sided paper and it's really dark pattern on the other side, just use something that you're going to see. Because when you turn it over, you want to draw a line, I've done a pencil line, from the top left to the bottom right. So I've drawn a line across there. I've done the same on this piece, and I've done the same on these two. So you're always drawing your line on the reverse side from the top left to the bottom right. We're now going to go ahead and cut these up, and I'm going to lay them out on the deck so you can see. One thing I forgot to mention was that if, like me, you're going to be using double-sided tape on the back of your pattern A and pattern B, it's best to tape it first and then cut it. I forgot, so I'm now going to have fun taping triangles, but that's fine. What we're going to do now is just tape the back of these, or if you're gluing, then obviously you can just glue them straight on. So let me just show you where they're going to go. I'm going to deal with the large pieces first and then the small pieces. So I'm going to move those to one side. So with the large pieces, you just want to take one of each pattern, and the other two are either going to be scrap or you're going to use those on your other card. So I'm going to put these off to one side with the other card because that's what I'm going to be using. I'm going to use this on the other card. So I'm going to put this off to one side, and then these two are the only ones I'm using. So if you bring in your large piece that you've folded, pattern B goes at the back, pattern A goes at the front, and you're going to go ahead and stick those down onto the front of your card. So there's the back piece all completed. That just needs to be stuck onto the base. I'm going to put that to one side for now, but you can see where it is, how it looks. So now we bring in the two front pieces and we're going to do the same again. So I had the dark at the back and the stars at the front. So that will go at the back, that will go at the front. And then on this one, I'm just going to turn that round, that goes at the back. I turn this round, that goes at the front, and I'm going to stick both of those onto here. So I finished the front ones, and obviously we did the back one just now. So now we need to bring back in the card, the contrasting card base with the white back on it. And what we're going to do is we're going to place these on so that they have a little bit of a border around the sides and the top, or the sides and the bottom, depending on which one we're doing. So what I like to do is actually place them first, just to make sure that the border, top and bottom and left and right, is kind of even. So about like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stick this on. So I've gone ahead and stuck them down, and as you'll notice, I've actually stuck them all so they all fold out like a card blank. They all fold. The fold is on the left hand side on all of the pieces. So that's what we're left with. So now what we need to do is decorate. So I'm going to put I think I'm going to put a Christmas tree at the back, a star, and then a season's greetings, maybe. So I'm going to add these on with foam pads. Now when you add your embellishments, don't forget you're only sticking them on where the front triangle is. Don't be tempted to stick them at the back, because obviously then they're not going to have the same desired effect. So you might realise I've actually switched them round. The reason I switched them round is normally I would have the highest thing at the back and then have smaller things at the front. However, because of the way this card works, when it's folded flat, you don't want anything really popping above that line there. So I realised my Christmas tree popped up quite high, so I've swapped them around, the snowflake and the Christmas tree, so that they're that way around. So at least then, because this doesn't matter if it pops up above, it still remains within the frame of the card. So now we just need to get some stoppers, and then we can stop the little card fronts and make sure that they stay up like that, like an easel. So I'm going to use the little circles that come in the decoupage pad, and I'll just put a little gem in the middle just to make them a little bit more blingy. So they're going to be my stoppers, and I'm just going to add a foam pad on the back, and then they're going to sit there, which will stop that into place. So I'm going to do that now. So there we have the finished card with the stoppers. And as I said, I have one of those spare and one of those spare. So I'm now going to quickly go and put the other card together, exactly the same as we've done this one. And then I will add those two on, and I'll come back at the end and show you what I've finished with. So if you want to do a pair of cards, so obviously I've done, that's my first one, and you want to make a second one, all you need is exactly the same again. So exactly the same, the two pieces that I laid out before, that you score exactly the same way, the two long pieces that I mentioned before, the 7 1/4 and the 6 3/4, exactly as you've done before. You're going to need the piece of pattern A, exactly as before, and cut it into two, exactly as we've done before. Same with pattern B, just do that the same again. And then pattern C, you're going to need again all the inside of pattern C, and then you're just going to bring in your two triangles from your first card, and these will then go on this bit here like that when you come to constructing. Okay, and then obviously you just need that the same, you need the stoppers, you need the sentiments, everything the same. So I'm going to go ahead now, quickly put this together, and then I can come back at the end and show you both of them made up. So I've gone ahead and finished off the other card. So there's the other card. So I just used a couple of different sentiments on it. I use those stoppers again because I really like them. Obviously I used the same papers because I was finishing up the triangle from the back. And then yeah, I've just stuck it all down. So as I said, it all folds flat, and as I showed at the beginning, and I quite like it. It's just quite a nice card. And there's the first one that I did, we just did together on the video. So I hope you like it. And this is an original design. Again, it was kind of spawned from the original triple panel easel card. So if you do it, please tag me in, please credit me, please like and subscribe, and we'll hopefully see you next time. Bye.